Hi, welcome to Chef Maxwell's Kitchen. We're down here in Norfolk, Virginia, where the seafood is wonderful. We're at the Culinary Institute of Virginia, where tomorrow's chefs are being trained today. We're here to play with Virginia food, and we've got some great stuff for you today. We've got fresh produce you can get from your farmer's market, got wonderful sweet corn, we've got some fresh basil, some fresh parsley and thyme, we've got good sweet onions, and we've got aquacultured clams. And we're going to be playing with this and this pasta. This is a whole wheat pasta, so this dish, generally speaking, is very good for you. I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil to this. If you let it get too hot, it changes its aroma and flavor, and I'm not excited by it, but this recipe works best with olive oil. So, right, it's about hot. I'm going to add some garlic. You see how quick that started to sing to us? Some garlic. You can never have too much garlic, especially these days with all those vampire movies out. All right. So we've got that. I'm going to throw some onions in here and stir this around. It's going to take a couple of minutes to cook. We want it to kind of brown. All right. So I'm going to throw some fresh thyme in there. I'm just pulling the leaves off, leaving the stems behind. I'm going to chop this up. Now, I can't wait till the technology is there so you can share the aroma with me. We're not quite there yet, but this is delightful. Onions, garlic, fresh thyme, wonderful. Okay, while that's cooking, we're going to get our corn together. I've got some of it done here. All I'm doing is cutting it off the cob. Just go straight down, turn it, go straight down. What we want to do is try and bring the sugars out of the onions. I know it doesn't seem like intuitively that there's a lot of sugar in onions, but there is. There's a good amount of sugar in there, and the heat will help bring it out. And once it starts to come out, it'll start to brown. You can see down here it's starting to get some color down there. And we're going to throw the corn in. Now we don't want to cover this now, because if we cover it, it'll sweat the water out and the temperature will drop down to 212, which is where water boils. So if you cover it, the water stays in and the temperature stays down. You leave it uncovered, the water goes away, and you can get it up to the 300, 350 degrees you need for caramelization. Okay, we've got this colored the way we want it. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of flour in here. Now what we're making is called a roux, and a roux is equal weights of flour and fat. And we're taking the olive oil as our fat, and we're taking the flour and sprinkling it in here and moving it around. Now it needs to be cooked a little bit to get that floury taste out of it. What's going to happen then is when we add more liquids to this pan, it's going to make its own sauce. Now that it's all incorporated, cooked down a little bit, we're going to add some white wine. And this is a Pinot Grigio I'm using here, but you can use any dry white wine, or if you don't want to use wine, you can use grape juice or you could use apple juice. Right? Either one goes really good with clam. So I'm adding a cup or two of the wine. Now we don't have to worry about alcohol, because alcohol evaporates at 170 degrees. And we're cooking this now at over 250. So by the time it gets finished, there'll be no alcohol in this dish. We'll just be left with the flavor and the aroma of the wine. All right, now I'm going to take a little bit of basil. All right, I'm going to chiffonade this, cut it into little strips. We've talked about chiffonade before on the show. All right, and that's going to go in. We're going to take a little bit of parsley. This is flat leaf Italian parsley. Don't get it confused with cilantro. Cilantro has a very big flavor. Parsley is very mild, but it gives a little garden sweetness to the dish. We're going to chop that up. Put that in there. And this is starting to get really an aroma I love. Okay, now we're going to take the clams, and I've washed these good. You got to make sure you wash the clams good. All right? Scrub the outside. Use a little brush if you need to. Right? Putting them up is a habit. It's not required, but it is a habit that I got into a long time ago that makes sure that the clam stays in the shell. Right? Okay, that should be pretty close to enough. You don't want to jam them in too much, otherwise they won't open effectively. So now we're going to cover this, and in about 5 minutes the clams will open, and all the juice from the clam will go down and make our sauce. So, all right, these should be just about ready now. We're going to open up this pot, and oh goodness, yes. Look at these. I'm going to start pulling these out, all right, so that we can get the pasta in. They're still popping open. I'm going to pull some of the finished ones out. I'm going to add the pasta. In that goes. Move this over closer. We got that there. Throw some clams in on top of this. All right, guys, stop drooling. I'm going to sprinkle it with a little bit of green onions. And here we've got clams from the Chesapeake with herbs and vegetables from Virginia. Wonderful dish. Tasty, it's good for you, and best of all, it's all Virginia food. For more delicious recipes using Virginia-grown fruits and vegetables, contact Lisa Lloyd at the Virginia Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services at 102 Governor Street, Richmond, Virginia, 23219.
Chef Maxwell's recipes are listed on the Save Our Food website at saveourfood.org.